Welcome to Between the Covers. Welcome. Between the Covers is the show for readers and writers and lovers of books. I'm Stephanie Larkin. I'm an author and head penguin at Red Penguin Books. We're a publishing company for authors of all types and genres. So if you have a story that's been stuck in your head for years, or maybe 1,000 pieces of loose leaf shoved into a drawer, believe me, people do send me pieces of loose leaf that were in a drawer. Unleash your inner author and visit redpenguinbooks.com. I am so thrilled that I'm joined by 3 authors who have, well, they've unleashed. And our first has unleashed for the very first time. We have a debut author, Marguerite Maitland, with us. Woo! And we also have 2 authors who are going to be joining us long distance. Alan Stanfield is going to be joining us in a few minutes from Wyoming, and Sophia Henry is going to be joining us from Detroit. But since we have a debut author, we have champagne.
We do. We have champagne.
Because every new book deserves champagne.
Absolutely.
That's a for sure. So how does it feel?
I feel like my feet are not touching the ground for at least a week. So it's been a long haul to get this one out and ready in the right karma, the right time, the right place, and looking forward to the next one. I can't believe I'm saying this.
I know, could you imagine?
And the one after that. So,
I love that.
Yeah,
I love that.
So it's the first of a series, and I'm proud of it, and I'm proud of the skill that I built, and I'm just really excited to have it out in the universe.
Fantastic. So. Now, Noreen is your editor.
Editor, friend, and chief encourager, yes.
Did you think she'd get here? Or
yes, I did.
You knew it.
No, I knew it. And it's easy to say it now, but honestly, from the first time I read the book, I worked with a couple of writers, and it's only when you really know they've got it, like you want to keep reading it, and that in its roughest form, you still want to keep reading it. That's when I was like, stick with this. This is really worth it.
So
and
glad
it's got such a great
her.
basis, and she's going to talk about, I'm sure, a bit about where this came from. But it was excellent. Mm-hmm. Excellent.
Now, besides excitement, do you feel relief?
Yes. Well, once I handed it off to Noreen for a full edit, I did breathe, really a true sigh of relief, because you get caught in an editing loops, and I go to critique groups, and you're constantly getting feedback, which is all good, but at some point you have to call it, and you have to say, this is it, the chapter is what it is, it's going to stand, and it goes to editing for comma corrections and character building and plot development and all of those things. All those fabulous things that need to be there. So it was like, I don't want to say an anvil, but because writing it was fulfilling and creative. But it was a huge relief to just pass it off and be done.
Like hot
and
potato.
Be able to,
your problem now.
Yeah. Well, I call it the Picasso effect. You never know when's the last stroke. When do you put the brush down and just say, okay,
well, that's
get
a good.
Off
I love that you said that, because sometimes you don't know when is that last stroke.
Well,
and I always say to the authors that I'm working with, yes, you want everything to be perfect, but I will tell you, I have never once picked up a book in Barnes & Noble, anything, without finding a typo before I hit page 50. I mean, honestly. So you want everything to be perfect, but, progress is perfection in itself.
Well,
doing something. Don't, kill yourself over it.
So it's interesting, because one of the critique groups, I was writing the end, and initially it was really one big book, and I had decided to split it.
Yes.
So once I decided to split it, and I got to the middle part, which would have been the middle of one full book, and it ended up being the end of book 1. And I thought I had another page left to write, and I brought it to I don't know if you remember this, but I brought it to the critique group, and I read it, and I got to the last sentence, and I said, well, this is all I got done to bring today, but I think there's another couple of pages I need. And everyone in the group said, no, this is the end. And that's how it became the end.
Very good.
So I took their advice, and I did not put another page in. But so it's interesting that sometimes that's the way it happens.
Sometimes you just got to stop. Mm-hmm. Well, before we talk more about your book and our other authors, what books inspire you as a writer, in this book or just in general? How about you?
Well, I was very lucky. I was a language major in school, so I've always loved reading, and my whole family reads. I mean, there's books and books and stacks and stacks, and trading them back and forth. So reading was always. And I know most of the great writers, like Stephen King says, you want to be a good writer, be a reader.
Absolutely.
That's pretty much it. And yes, Stephen King, of course, grew up with Stephen King. The first book I had in high school that was from a book club was a Stephen King book. And,
Really?
it was great. But also, I have family in Ireland, and they send us authors over here. And one of my friends, one of her friends, just one of my cousins, one of her friends just had a new book come out, and now they're already asking for the second and the third. So,
Fantastic.
but gosh, I'll read cereal boxes. I read everything. Everything. Actually, I realized I have a magazine stuck in my bag when I brought it here, so just constantly reading.
You'll really read anything.
Lately, I've been reading a lot of nonfiction, having to do with education. You know, I've worked in higher education, and there's a lot of disruption going on there, and there's some really great authors. Jeff Salingo, Paul Tuff has just written a great book about college and whether or not you really need it. And, it's just, you know, I'm an omnivore when it comes to reading.
Marguerite, what are you reading right now? Or what do you like reading?
Well, I like reading all kinds of stuff. As an adolescent, I read a ton. I was endlessly reading. I was reading classics. I was reading, you know, romance, Daniel Steele. I was reading Tom Clancy and other detective novels, Agatha Christie. But my favorite book is Gone with the Wind. My second favorite is Anna Karenina, and the third
reread those
is
from
All
time to
Creatures
time.
Big and Small. So those are my top.
okay,
Those are my top
okay.
3 growing up. But I read it.
Wait,
I was
which All
always reading.
Creatures Great and Small?
Harriet?
The Harriet
James
one?
Harriet?
Yeah.
Oh, God, I loved the Harriet
yes,
books growing up.
I loved that book.
All
So
of
those
them,
are my
yes.
top 3.
Ah.
But as a mom, I was very inspired. I read a lot with my kids, a lot, from of course, the picture books when they were little and learning sight words, but also as they grew, a lot of Rick Riordan, a lot of Dave Barry, a lot of J.K. Rowling, obviously,
Yes, yes.
and the Hunger Games.
Right.
Dave Barry and Rick Riordan came up with a prequel for Peter Pan, Peter and the Starcatchers, which was a 3-book series, which we loved. I
Right,
mean, we
right.
just could not get enough of those books. The kids were like, I can't go to bed, I can't go to
Aw.
bed. So we read a ton, and that juvenile fiction was very inspiring, and the stories are very inspiring. Like Stephen King
Yes.
had a tack on the wall for his rejection letters, which he then had to turn into a nail because the tack wasn't thick enough to hold people up on the wall. So that's very inspiring. As somebody who
Absolutely.
spent several months querying literary
yep.
agents before we met,
Well,
yeah.
I'm thrilled that you're here. And if you are a reader and love to read, and after you've read all of your books, pass them around to your friends, if they need a new home, please think of the Book Fairies. We love the Book Fairies. They collect here on Long Island over 50,000 books every single month to distribute to school districts, children, adults, people in need of books, both here on Long Island as well as to over 50 different libraries in Africa. So please visit thebookfairies.org or just bring your books here on a Wednesday night. You get a free glass of wine, and we would be happy to bring your books over to the Book Fairies. Well, we're going to pop some champagne so we can get drinking, and we'll be right back with our first author. Thanks for joining us.
Writing a book is the adventure of a lifetime. Red Penguin Books take pride in giving our authors a publishing experience that is stress-free and celebratory all the way. Some of our authors first approach us with no more than an idea for a book that's ready to sprout. Others submit completed manuscripts. Whether you're at either end or anywhere in between, our goal is to get you published. At Red Penguin Books, we offer options and opportunities that are unique in the world of publishing, and all of them are designed to keep you, the author we so deeply respect, in the driver's seat, unlike other publishing houses. So, if you want to write a book and are looking for a publisher, we've got you covered. Red Penguin Books deal in publishing services, book development, and ghostwriting for digital, print, and audiobook. Call us at 516-448-4993 or visit our website www.redpenguinbooks.com.
not even my maiden name.
I know,
That's
it's
one
your
of my
Welcome
maiden
back to Between the Covers. I am so delighted to invite our guest author from way across the country. Alan Stanfield is the author of Children of the Cursed and is piping into us from Wyoming. Welcome, Alan, to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us. How are you?
I'm doing good. You?
I love the magic of Skype. You didn't have to ride a horse over here. I don't even know if you have horses, Alan. I just presume everybody in Wyoming has horses. Do you have horses?
Most people do. I don't.
Oh, okay. I just presume if you're in Wyoming, you must have horses. But
Dogs work for me.
oh, okay.
Dogs.
I have been fortunate enough to be in Wyoming probably about 5 times in my life, and each time was more beautiful than the last. It is one of the most beautiful states in our nation, and I am so jealous that that's what you wake up to.
Except for the snow.
Oh, well, I'm sure. I've only been there in August. 5 times in August. Well,
It
thank
is a
you so
very
much
nice
for
place to live.
this book, Children of the Cursed. I'm going to read a little bit of the back just to get people into the idea of it. In a kingdom in turmoil, people only care for riches and power. As war breaks out between countries, a godly power is awakening. 2 boys train at the academy to become knights of valor. Best friends, one is filled with light, while the other leans toward darkness. They both have the power to change the world or destroy it in their battle for what they believe is right. Fantastic book, Alan. Thank you so much for writing this, and could not endorse more. What is your inspiration?
Usually I write the scary books, but this time I decided to switch it up and try to write a fantasy book so my kids could have something to read.
Oh, okay. You have kids. Do they like it?
They do.
They did like it? How old are your kids?
15 and 14.
I love an author who could write books for his own kids. You know, when my kids were 15 and 14, I went to the library. You know? I think that that's fantastic. Who are some of your favorite authors? I could see little inklings of Tolkien in here when I was reading.
Yeah, Tolkien, let's see, love Stephen King, James
yeah.
Patterson, a few other authors that I really enjoy reading. I just like to pick up any book that looks interesting, and I enjoy reading.
There was a little hint of George R.R. Martin in here also. I felt like I was reading a script from the Game of Thrones in some spots.
A little bit.
So if they want to make a TV show on it, HBO can be calling, huh?
If only.
Now, is this part of whether it's a series or if there are going to be other books as part of this? Because I got to the end and I love the whole world you created.
Sorry. I've almost got part 2 written already.
Oh, good.
It'll be time for editing here in probably about a week.
Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Now, tell us a little bit about your writing process. Do you know what's going to happen in the story first, or is it you're flying by the seat of your pants?
Most of the time I know how the story is going to begin and how it's going to add all the way through to the end story.
Oh, you do? Okay. Mm-hmm. So you're not surprised who turns out to be the bad guy. You knew it all along.
Right.
Did you ever have someone in your real life that you patterned someone after? Like maybe one of your bad guys is someone who cut you off on the road or something?
No, I can't say that that's ever been an influence. Maybe into scary books.
So in the scary books, that's where you get back at people, huh?
Yeah.
Now tell me about you writing. Are we talking a computer or are we talking legal paper with a pen?
Every so often if I don't have my laptop on me, I'll break out a notebook and a pen and I'll write a little, but mainly all on laptop.
Oh, okay. But you still resort to the good old-fashioned method once in a while.
I do.
Oh, good for you. Good for you. And who gets to be the first readers of your books? Do you have some trusted people, like Marguerite here has book groups and all sorts of people who are reading them? How about you?
I have a few beta readers that I pass it on to, and they give me a little feedback here and there.
Oh, fantastic. Like, ooh, that guy wasn't mean enough. Do they ever say that?
A couple of times.
What do you think is the most challenging part of writing for you? Is it getting started, or is it, getting finished? Where's the challenge?
Let's see. I'd just say probably trying to finish the book, get that perfect ending.
That perfect ending, yes.
Yep.
That perfect ending. You keep writing and writing.
Perfect ending.
Yeah, it's not easy to write the end, is it?
No.
Now, how long did this book take for you? What's your average?
I'd say about 5 or 6 months.
Oh, so the kids
average.
get to still be in the same age. It's not like they're 20 now.
Yeah.
5 or 6 months. We're impressed. What is that, like 18 hours a day you're writing?
So it can be sometimes. When I don't want to go to bed, it gets a little bit of an issue.
Uh-huh. Are you a nighttime writer or a morning writer? What's your deal?
I'm more of a nighttime writer.
Oh, okay. Especially the scary stuff, right?
Right.
Now, do you like to be in a quiet room? Are you a music person? I always ask because so many people have different things that inspire them.
Me, I kind of like to sit upstairs with the TV on and write.
Really? The TV on?
I do that too.
Do you really?
Nature documentaries.
Okay, she's watching nature documentaries. What are you watching exactly?
I usually watch the Nat Geo Wild channel.
Nat Geo! Oh my gosh!
So
what is
I'm
this?
not crazy. It's validated.
This is fabulous. So if you're a writer watching this right now and you've got writer's block, turn on the Nature's channel.
Yep.
I love that. Who knew the Nature channel made people write?
I don't know. It's the
I don't
scenery,
understand
it's the
that.
sound.
You don't have to follow a plot, so.
Well, I guess that's true. You don't have to pay attention to a plot. Do you have like a special drink? We have to get the whole picture. Is it tea? Is it whiskey? What are you doing there?
Oh, me?
Yep.
Oh, just flavored water. Nothing too fun.
Flavored water.
Yeah.
I think Marguerite's got a glass of wine when she's watching it.
Sometimes, that's true.
Flavored water and the Nat Geo channel. Who knew?
Pretty much.
Who knew? Now, do you write and you just dump it all out and go back and edit, or are you like crafting it as you go?
No, I usually get done writing, now put it away for 2 or 3 weeks so I have fresh eyes and then go back into it and start the editing process.
Okay. Good. See, I love hearing this because we have so many viewers. Surveys say that 90% of America wants to write a book. So you are speaking to everybody who wants to do just what you did. You wrote it. I'm holding it. I know you wrote it. So, now we're going to have 90% of America tuning into Nat Geo with flavored water tonight. Because they just heard that you wrote this huge book, and this is huge, man. This is the end is not until page 359. He wrote that in like 5 months with Nat Geo on.
Yeah.
Get inspired. So how close are we on the second book? Because we want you back so I can hear what happens next. When is the second book going to be released?
I'd say, let's see, once I get it submitted to the publishing company, they usually take about 5 more months. So
Okay.
I'd say probably about 6 months from now, maybe.
All right, well, you're going to contact me so we can have you back on when that happens, okay?
I promise to do so.
Now, tell our viewers a little bit. Do you have a website, or where can they find you so they can buy Children of the Cursed? Where can they find this?
Right now, Amazon is usually my biggest seller.
Okay.
Where you can find my books.
Fantastic. Get a good look at the cover so you know what you're looking for. It's pretty scary. So, but if his 15-year-old can handle it, anybody can, right? Alan, thank you so much for joining us, and we're going to see you in 6 months with your next book.
Okay, thank you for having me.
Right, well, thanks again. Take care. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.
And we'll be right back on Between the Covers with our next guest. Thanks for joining us.
Are you interested in writing, but you're unsure how to get started? Or perhaps you're already an author, but want to hone your skills and receive supportive yet constructive feedback? Welcome to WebWritersRetreat.com. Developed to help once and future authors like you to gain from positive and supportive criticism of your submissions from other writers and our professional staff, Push forward through personal timetables and writing exercise sessions. Sharpen your skills through group coaching and Q&A sessions with literary experts. Receive practical resources such as templates, downloads, links, online courses, and free ebooks. Benefit from book reviews and opportunities to join a beta team to enrich yourself as well as other authors. Save with special discounts for publishing services and online courses, social media, and email marketing, and a whole lot more. Visit webwritersretreat.com and turn your writing dreams into reality.
Hey everybody, this is Motorcycle Mike, the personal injury lawyer. In addition to representing injured motorcyclists for over 30 years now, during that same time, I've represented countless car crash victims and construction workers injured on construction sites. If you need my assistance, go to my website, motorcyclemikeesq.com. I will always be there for you.
Welcome back to Between the Covers. Thanks for joining us. Our next guest, Sophia Henry, is joining us from Charlotte, North Carolina. She's the author of Saints and Sinners. It's a 2-book series, and woof, it is hot. Sophia, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. Thank you so much.
And your book cover is quite hot, you know.
I'm sweating right now.
Well, I read the book and I was definitely sweating, okay? Love the book. And of course, we want a poster-sized picture of the cover. So thanks so much for joining us, and tell us a little bit about your writing journey. When did you start writing? Not just this book, but in general.
Yeah, I've actually been writing for my whole life. I started with poetry when I was a little kid.
Oh.
And I wrote my first novel in high school in 4 spiral notebooks.
A full novel in high school?
Yeah, but we're not talking great writing. I'm not going to pat myself on the back. It was a lot of words, and it wasn't that great, but it's an outlet for me. You know, it always has been.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Good for you. How about your first published book? When was that?
My first published book was in 2015.
Okay.
And it was a 5-book hockey series with Random House.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah.
Congratulations. So tell us a little bit about Saints and Sinners. Well, I'll get up a cover for Sinners, too. Although Saints is Saints is the hotter cover. So I'll tell you now. I'll show you Sinners, and he puts on
Saints
Sinners.
And Sinners actually came from a lot of places. It came from that young, girl, me, growing up in Detroit, which is where I'm from originally.
Right.
Watching hockey. And when I was growing up as a teenager and the hormones were flowing, I started watching Russian hockey players, and I started learning about them, and I became fascinated. And at the time, there were players who were being extorted by the Russian mafia because they were coming over and making all this money. And that's where the idea of Saints and Sinners came, because it's about Russian mafia.
Wow.
And a sister of one of the hockey players who is getting extorted, and it's kind of about her journey back in Russia when her brother goes to play in America.
Now, that's so funny, because when I read the books, I was thinking that you were inspired by, I don't know, maybe you took a trip to Russia and you decided to write a novel, and then you put it about hockey. I didn't realize you grew up with hockey and then decided to write about the Russian extortion
a lot of people
plot.
say that. They're like, we just thought you were this Russian fan. And I'm like, no, it started with the men. Honestly.
I totally thought you were a fan of, Russia. I was like, wow, okay, she's into Russia. That's cool.
I'm a huge Russophile. I don't know, you can see my tattoos. I got Matryoshkas on me. But it started back then. And it was just like a passion. And this book was 30 years of research in the making.
Really?
15 years. Let's not say how old I am.
It was only 1 year of research in the making.
Now was just researching a little, but no, it was a lot of passion, and it came into this book. So I mean, I hope it shows for my readers.
Oh my God, did it show? The passion showed in every page. It was absolutely breathless. And it also, by the way, makes me want to go a little bit to Russia and check some places out. Of course, without, the kidnapping and bad stuff going on.
Yeah, no, we don't want that.
Yeah, no. If I go, I'm going with like a bodyguard.
No, me too. And, it's my bucket list. I have never been there, but I would love to. And, someday I'm going to take my kids, but, they're little still, so.
How old are your kids?
I have a 10 and a 7-year-old, both boys.
Okay, so a little bit too young to be reading some of this book.
Yeah, they help me pick the covers sometimes.
They pick this cover? Your 10 and 7-year-old pick this cover?
Hey, if they don't learn it from me, they're going to learn on the street.
Oh my gosh!
I like the way she
they're
thinks
like, oh,
that.
Mom, like that guy.
I mean, I guess, but really, they picked that one? That's because they're boys. If she had a daughter, I don't know if she'd be letting her read that cover.
Oh, no, she won't pick covers. No, I don't have one, but, it's funny. They're just funny about it, and I'm just like...
That's so hilarious. It's like, here, Mommy wrote a book. Let's look at these naked men and see which one's the hottest. Is that how that conversation went?
Exactly. Like, I'm glad that it's a family business.
I love that. I want to be a fly on the wall when you have that conversation about the half-naked man there. That's very cool.
They don't know what I write, but they know that's my book cover. So when they're looking, they're like, oh, I mean, I'm picking the guys, but I'm just like, that one.
Yeah, right. But they have no idea what the book is about?
No, they don't know. It's like, strong guy. It's like a muscular dude. I'm like, sure.
Yep. He's a strong, muscular dude. That's all right. So how long did it take you to write this? Did you write the two at the same time? Tell us a little bit about your process.
I did. Yeah, I wrote both of them at the same time, and because it's written as a duet, so I wrote it as one full book, and then I just did a cutoff point where there was a cliffhanger.
Gotcha.
And the books came out within a month of each other, so I wasn't making people wait for like a year.
Well, that was good because as soon as I got to the last page of the first one, I just kept swiping to go to the second one.
And that's the point. No, right? We're all authors here, right? That's the
Absolutely.
point.
I wanted to just keep going.
Exactly. So, but all together, it took me about, 8 months to write both of them.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Good for you. Are you a nighttime or a daytime writer?
I'm a both. I'm a whenever I have time. I actually block
Yeah, well,
my
you got those
schedule.
kids. I get that.
Yeah, and I block my schedule. So I write while they're at school, and then after they go to bed, I write again. So, like right now, I'll start writing after this is done.
Oh, look at you. Boy, I'm glad our TV show is inspiring you. Now, where do you do your best writing? Are you at home, or are you a Starbucks girl, or what is it?
I'll be honest, I used to be a coffee shop girl, but where I am right now, you can't see, but I'm at a co-working space. So it's a bunch of people who kind of like pay rent, and we just come in and we can use the facility, and we sit and we talk and collaborate with.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah,
I love that. We've had some
great to be
writers who work in co-working spaces. Is yours geared just for writers, or it could be for anybody?
Nope, it's anybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's really awesome. It's all walks of life. It's not, I love being around writers, but it's nice to be around people with other ideas and marketers.
Absolutely. And it's nice to get out of the house, because if you're in the house, you're going to do laundry or something.
That's exactly what I do.
No,
which
that's
is so much
fantastic.
better than
What
writing,
a
right?
great...
When you're procrastinating, I'm like, laundry, that sounds awesome.
Yeah. Well, that's how you got the equivalent of 2 books done in 8 months, because you were at that co-working space getting it all done.
Yes, I have really strict deadlines for myself, and I have set blocks. So when I'm blocked for writing, I'm writing. So yeah.
Good for you. Good for you. It's not easy. There's so many distractions in this world.
Absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about what you're working on next. There's more, right?
Oh, there's more.
Are there hunky guys? What?
I am working on Saints and Sinners 3.
Ooh.
So there will be a third book. And I'm actually working on 3 and 4 at the same time because the stories mix.
Okay, kind of like these did.
Twisty.
Okay.
And then when those stories mix, it will merge my Saints and Sinners series with another series that I have out right now called Material Girls. And those books will actually change into Saints and Sinners. And so they will all just merge together, and you can read them in order if you want.
Wow.
Or they can all be read as standalone.
How many books are going to end up in this whole series? A lot.
There's 9 planned right now. I'm planned through 2021, and that's this series and then another hockey series that I have coming out. So
it's a lot of laundry. Did you hear all those books? 20? Did you say 20 or 21?
No, I'm planned
Oh,
through like
2021, the year. 9 books. Wait, you're going to finish 9 books by 2021? You know it's already 2020.
Saints and Sinners by the end of this year.
Wow. That's it. Those are ambitious plans. I like it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes.
Fantastic.
I mean, this is my job. This is my career. This is how my kids get fed. So
she's going to keep on writing. I love that. If we want food on the table, Mom's got to write.
No, I mean, I'm grateful to be able to have this career and be able to do that with, do what I love and the passion.
Well, I got to tell you, I'm grateful that you're doing it because your books were terrific.
Thank you.
I am so thrilled. So the next Saints and Sinners books 3 and 4 is scheduled to come out when?
They're scheduled roughly for April and July of this year.
Wow, okay. So they're already on the docket, man. Keep writing.
They're on the docket. I just don't have exact dates, but the months are pretty much set.
Did we already pick out the handsome men for them, or It's
going to be a calendar.
I haven't yet. I haven't gotten my kids together. No, I'm just kidding.
Did you hear Eileen wants to make a calendar out of them?
Oh my gosh, yes. No, but I will be working on those covers soon. I'll be working on getting those pictures. Don't worry.
All right, when you got a cover, could you please send it to me? Because I know my email list wants to see that cover, man.
If you want to help, I'll push my kids to the side. And, we can do.
Absolutely, we can talk cover. You call anytime, and we'll look at hunky men. And absolutely, you got it. Well, where can our readers find you and all of your events and new books? Where's the best place to find you?
Yeah, I mean, the best place to find me is my website, which is sophiahenry.com. And you can find me all over, the internet as Sophia Henry, Facebook, Instagram, anything.
Okay, and Sophia, when we follow you on Instagram, all those places, are there pictures of the men like this?
Yeah.
Well, then let's all follow Sophia.
Okay.
All right, we're in.
We're done
For a secret, though, until it comes out.
Of course. No, not the new guys. At least just this one, right?
Yeah, but I can post more of Zach.
Okay, SophiaHenry.com, and there are books that came before this, and there are books to come. So let's get hooked on her writing. We love that. This way she can feed those kids.
Yes.
I agree with that. SophiaHenry.com, we are there. And Sophia, could you do me a favor? And when you've got interesting stuff, book awards, things like that, just send them on over to me so that we can post them to all of our viewers.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on today.
Oh, my goodness. Thank you so much for joining us. And we want to have you back when your next ones are coming out, okay?
Absolutely.
Thanks so much. Take care and happy writing.
Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
And we will be right back with our authors on the couch after this.
Hi, my name is Sharon Gillette, and I'm the owner of One Stitch at a Time. I've been doing this since I'm 9 years old, but it became full-time when my husband was diagnosed with cancer several years ago. And I never went back to work because I wanted to take care of him. I feel what makes me stand out is that I care. I take a personal interest in your project. I take the time to find your correct fit and treat you like a friend, not just a customer. So whether it's embroidery, making patches, printing shirts, doing alterations and repairs, or bringing your ideas to life, you can call me at 631-428-1245 or visit my website at www.onestitchatatime.co.
Let's go. No, I've plans with her. I'm sorry, but that's the deal.
A little bit closer, a little bit to the left. Yes, leave your beer, please. Okay, there we go. 3, 2,
Daddy,
1.
Daddy! Daddy. There's Mommy.
And welcome back to Between the Covers. And welcome back to our celebration with our debut author, Marguerite Maitland. We have a little surprise for you because you're a debut author.
Okay.
Come on out with our little surprise for her.
Oh, a cake.
Great.
Oh my God.
Here, wait. No, don't put
Don't cut it until you get a picture.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. Well, I want a picture with you holding your
Oh my
cake.
gosh, completely. I can't believe I'm afraid to tilt it too much. I don't want it to.
Yeah.
It won't fall off. It better not fall off. All right, and let me grab one, and I can send you. All right.
Oh my gosh.
What do you think?
Oh,
Beautiful.
how fabulous.
Thank you guys.
Now,
Wait,
it's funny. I was. Yes, if anyone else.
They're taking pictures over there.
I'm moving these so that they can get a picture. Isn't that
Good?
fabulous?
We're all
I
good.
was a little worried because, the dark sea and all, but it still came out very
This is
good.
great. It's not a picture of you holding the book, it's the cake.
It's a picture of you holding the cake.
That is
And we
perfect.
have plates and napkins for cake for everybody.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. That's
Oh my gosh. Of course we have to have cake. It's a party.
It is.
So tell us about this book and how long it's been in the works and where it came from.
Well, it's been in the works for a long time because I started it kind of as a hobby, whittling away at it as my kids were little by little, working part-time, managing life in general. It was a bit of a challenging decade, but plowed through. I found the critique group, which helped keep me accountable to getting X number of words done at least twice a month. And then the craft of being able to write and to show the reader rather than tell the reader, using imagery, using dialogue to build the characters, build the relationship between the characters. When I first started to write, I was terrified of using dialogue. So I was a lot of exposition. And as I worked with a critique group and took that feedback, and you got to have a thick skin, you got to hear when it doesn't work.
Yep.
And you just build and build. And then I read about writing and talked about writing and thought about writing and did a ton of research for this book. So it just evolved over time. And so I would say I probably rewrote it 3 times. So this is the 3rd rewrite that went through, a proper edit. And
Cut
so
the
it's
first
on.
piece and then
I'm
we
gonna
can
cut
start
the-
eating.
Okay. There's the first
All
piece.
right. Fantastic.
So
You
we're
get the
gonna
first
just-
It's like your
piece.
birthday. You get the first one.
Yeah.
It's your birthday. You get
Well,
a
I'm
cake.
just going to be passing out.
Yes. Well, I'll ask Kieran, would you mind cutting and serving some of this? Because we have a house full of guests here. Fantastic. Thank you. So what is all this? And tell us about the story and where it came from.
Well, my instructions for coming today was to bring something inspirational.
Uh-huh.
So rather than bring my Anna Karenina book or my Gone with the Wind book, I'm going to ask that everyone magically pretend that these 3 things are really one
That's okay.
entity.
You're
We're
allowed-
just going
you're
to
allowed
magically
3
pretend
things.
these are 3 things. So the inspiration of these things are the inspiration for the book. So this is the journal that my grandfather typed up that his mother wrote out in longhand, which is the story of Robert's life. So it's 23 typed pages that my grandfather gave me about a year before he died. And along with that, he gave me this shoe, which is made out of mahogany. It's an old Victorian shoe. This is from the Victorian times. It's actually an old snuff box, so it slides open, but in here now is not snuff. It is rosemary left over from what we spread in his in the garden after my grandfather's memorial service, and his medals that he earned at Harvard Business School. So that's what's in there right now.
So recap for a second. So your grandfather gave you all of this.
Gave me the journal and the shoe.
And the journal that he gave you is whose journal?
Is my grandfather's grandfather.
Okay, so your great-great-grandfather,
Right,
Robert
is the subject
is
of
the
the book.
subject of the story, and your grandfather, I just want to make sure it's clear for our
Right.
readers, wrote this, well, typed.
Typed it,
You can
yeah.
tell by looking at this. This is old-fashioned type here. So he typed all of this,
which was written by his mother, who's Robert's daughter.
So Robert is the subject of the book.
Right.
And
Anna, his daughter.
His daughter wrote by hand his adventures.
Yes.
And then her son
My grandfather.
typed it. And handed it all to
me.
you.
Right. And so
wow,
what
do you
makes
hear this history? This is fabulous.
So what makes this shoe amazing is 120 years ago, Robert held this in his hand.
Oh my gosh.
So he received this shoe as a gift from his older brother, John.
So this is the original.
This is the actual shoe that my great-great-grandfather had. He treasured it. And he went back to England in his 60s for the first time after his trek around the world, his accidental trek around the world.
And for that, you'll have to read the book.
You'll have to read the book. But he did go back to England in his 60s to see which of his siblings were still living that he could see, and he did get the shoe that his brother had given him long before, but then they were separated. And then he took it back with him to his home in Nebraska, and he passed it to my great-grandmother, right, Anna, and she passed it to my grandfather, and he passed it to me.
Oh my
when
gosh.
I first got the journal,
so how long ago did you get the journal and the shoe?
Well, my grandfather died on his 96th birthday, April 11th, 2002.
Okay.
And then so I got the journal and the shoe the year before that, so it was 2001. So the shoe went on the mantle in the place of honor, and the journal went in the filing cabinet.
Of course, because that's where things that are this precious go, into a filing cabinet.
And that's where it sat, because I had a baby, and then I had another baby, and then he
Life,
died, and then my
yeah.
grandmother died, and then all kinds of things happened. So when my grandmother died, my sister and I were drinking some wine, writing her eulogy.
This is what happens.
And I remembered the story. So after we finished and we had her burial, I went back to the filing cabinet, I pulled out the story and I read it, and I thought, this is an incredible story of courage, of boy to manhood, of perseverance, of just this 12-year-old kid who just took off and ran away and
ran all over the world.
Ran from one adverse situation, put himself right in the middle of another one unintentionally, and just an incredible story. And it just started germinating, and then life took over, and I'm working, and the kids, and this and that. So it just evolved over time.
Right.
And so.
Now, who's in the picture?
So this is Robert when he is 60, about in his late 60s.
So that picture is from 18.
Yeah, well, he died in 1914. He was born in 1837. So this is somewhere around 1900.
1900 is that? So that man, when he was 12,
did
is
all
the
this.
subject of this, and just to clue our viewers in, because they have not gotten to read it. A naive plan to run away and cruel misfortune puts 12-year-old Robert and his best friend Michael on a British naval vessel, and this naval vessel ended up going around the whole world. So he was 12, ran away from home, stowed away on a naval vessel, and this is...
Right, but he didn't mean to stow away on the naval vessel. He thought he was stowing away on a cargo vessel. So when they were found in the lifeboats after the ship left port, and they discovered they were on a naval vessel, it's a whole other... It's a whole other ball game now. Like a cargo vessel, they probably would have been okay working their way to the next port and getting off and doing whatever they wanted to do. Naval vessel, not so much. No, it doesn't work like that on a naval vessel. Certainly not in the age of sail in the mid-1800s.
Right.
Definitely
So that's
not.
his actual picture.
So this
he
is
grew up.
Actual him.
Oh, let me see this.
Somewhere in my mother's house, there is a picture of my grandfather when he was 3, sitting on Robert's lap.
Oh my
around
gosh.
like 1910, 1911.
So Robert,
with me today.
Robert, who stowed away at age 12, this man, when he was 12, stowed away on a naval vessel, went all over the world.
Having crazy adventures.
Crazy adventures in the 1800s, and then eventually, what you'll read in books 2 and 3, ended up in America and etc. And thank goodness he was okay, because Marguerite's here.
Otherwise, I wouldn't be here.
Otherwise, you wouldn't be here.
I wouldn't be here if he died in any
if he
of
died
those
in
storms.
that storm on page 86, that would be the end of you.
That's right. That's right.
Wow.
So he survived quite the series of ordeals over his 7 years at sea, and then another 10 years trekking across the country. So he's had just an incredible life, and actually didn't learn to read until he was in his 30s. When his second child was going to the one-room schoolhouse, and he started looking at the reader, and his children helped him learn how to read. So he didn't even know how to read during any of this, nor did he know how to swim.
Oh my gosh!
So,
On a naval
yeah,
vessel.
yeah.
Oh my gosh! What an amazing gift this was.
Yes. Yes.
That you didn't even know, and you stuck it in a file cabinet.
I did. I paid attention to the shoe, which is my treasured thing.
Right.
that I
Well, you
will
like
pass
the shoe,
on,
and you put it on a
know.
mantelpiece, but
Yeah,
this
that is an incredible story.
This
yes.
is the treasure. You know, the shoe is nice.
Yeah,
This is the treasure.
that's the treasure. Yes.
And this is unbelievable. You know, this is why people should write their memoirs.
Absolutely.
This is
Absolutely.
fabulous. What happened to our grandparents, but quite honestly, what's happening to us? People 100 years from now will be stunned and shocked and thrilled to find out about.
That's right. That's right. Well, I hope
You know, he might have thought
yeah.
that this was like a big nothing. And we're on TV talking about what this.
Right,
you know?
right. Well, I hope that 12-year-olds will read this, 11-year-olds will read this, and they'll really get a flavor of history, and they'll
And hopefully not run away from home.
understand. Yeah, well, hopefully not.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully they don't have to do any
Don't
of that.
try this at home.
But yeah.
Yes, exactly. Do not
But-
attempt this trick at home.
Yeah, yeah.
Things appear bigger on TV.
Right, right.
Things like that. Wow.
So, and the introduction is actually the words of Anna Frost, who was my great-grandmother. So she's the one who wrote down the stories longhand, who retold them. My grandfather typed them up, so it was my mother's idea actually to make her words be the introduction. So that's the introduction. So when you read it, it gives you a flavor
Right.
that the journal is written in her voice as she's retelling the story she remembers as a child that he told.
So what do you think? We're streaming live right now.
Right.
Is great-great-grandpa watching this? You know?
I hope so. I hope my grandparents, who
I
were
hope
very
your
influential
grandparents
to
are
me.
watching it, and I hope that Robert is watching this.
I would
just
hope
the
so.
thought that, you know, because I don't really know what happens after 100 years, but, you know, he could be tuning in right now and be like, she wrote it down. And then because he's reading it, he's like, she got that part wrong.
Yeah, maybe.
There's something in there. That's amazing.
Yeah, so
That's
it's an incredible
amazing.
story, and I just feel privileged to have learned all the things that I've learned along the way, to have had the critique group along the way to help me develop and become a better writer, the research which helped me become a better writer, and the research that made it an authentic book and I as accurate as I could, because I'm thinking it's all told from Robert's perspective, the 12-year-old, the first time he sees a whale breach, the first time he sees a shark, a tropical fish, the first time he lives through a storm, the first time he learns how to tie a knot. You know, it all happens through his eyes. So I'm just hoping that it's something that pulls some kids and grown-ups into learning more about our history and understanding our history. And it wasn't easy. It was not an easy life in the age of
Absolutely
sail.
not
Not an easy life. Yeah.
Yeah, we're kind of spoiled here. Kind of spoiled. So when you first conceived of this, you conceived of the actual, what is now going to be 3 books.
Right.
As one book. And then, I mean, as it is, the one book is 300 pages long.
Right.
I'm glad we cut that down into 3.
Yeah. I think it was.
Because really, a 900-page book, you could drop it on your foot, you break a toe. It's a lot.
Yeah, and that actually came from going to a writing conference. The idea to pull it, make it a series rather than one long book.
Right.
And it actually makes it more digestible to write.
Absolutely.
And edit, right?
So this one
She
is.
doesn't want to edit 900 pages.
I was on board for the whole story. It's okay.
Yeah.
So this one is done, and the other ones, were they started when you were doing the whole, or how did that
Well,
go?
the book 2 is about halfway written.
Okay.
So right now I'm working on rearranging things and, starting. He's on a. I don't want to give too much away.
Don't give too
I'm
much
not gonna
away.
say. I'm not going to say
No
what happens. I'm not gonna say what
spoilers. No
happens.
spoilers.
So
Something happens.
Yeah,
I don't
something
know.
happens. Lots of things happen. So
Lots
I'm
of things happen in this
rearranging
too.
what was there already, and I'm rereading the research that I had done previously just to refresh my brain on it, and so it's underway. So I think June is a doable.
Fantastic.
doable
June it
date.
is. All right. We'll be right back to hear more, and we're going to get some cake. We'll be right back. Do you have a book Either in your head or on your desk, just waiting to get out to anxious readers? Hi, I'm Stephanie Larkin, author, book developer, and head penguin at Red Penguin Books. We're a publishing company specializing in books of all genres and publishing in all formats, including digital, audible, and print books. From business books to romance, memoirs to mysteries, our authors have complete control over their books from start to print. We'll help get your book to booksellers all around. Major booksellers such as Amazon, Apple, Kobo, Walmart, even libraries and bookstores around the world. We believe in our authors. So call or email today to get your free publisher's packet to get started. Just visit us at redpenguinbooks.com and get your book out there and into the hands of your readers. At Red Penguin Books, you call all the shots. So call us today and turn your dreams into a reality. Welcome back to Between the Covers. Thanks for joining us. We're sitting here eating cake and enjoying ourselves with our debut author. So tell us where we can find you and what's next on the agenda for you.
Well, I have a Runaway at Sea Facebook page.
Okay.
And there's runawayatsea.com. And also, I think there's a link through Red Penguin.
Absolutely. And will you be doing any book events, libraries, things like that?
Yes, we'll be doing some school events. We'll be doing libraries. I think I'm conceptualizing a scavenger hunt, some type of giant Jenga or Twister game.
Oh, yes, we were talking about in the spring, doing like a spring book launch with kids and all sorts of people involved.
So I'm definitely looking to connect with the PAR program, which is a great literature promotion for kids. So the book is really middle grade, so 5th grade and up. So I definitely like to talk to curriculum directors. I could do book events. I could do talks. We could do fun games that incorporate some things that happen in the book that help us learn about, we wouldn't have the Age of Sail, we wouldn't have anything if it wasn't for Benjamin Franklin charting all the currents.
Absolutely.
And trade winds. So, and if not for Benjamin Franklin. So we can certainly pull some history in.
Absolutely.
So I'm looking forward to
so
that.
middle grade teachers, curriculum directors, principals, librarians, if you're interested.
Superintendents.
Our author is available for talks, events, all sorts of things with the children, which would be fabulous. And if you visit runawayatsea.com, you'll be able to contact the author about booking an event, getting a digital sample, things like that, so that they can see the book.
Absolutely. And certainly I can drop some off.
Absolutely.
I will come drop them off.
Drop off books. She's available. I love that and love getting kids involved, especially, boys and girls can read it, but I love the protagonist is a boy. As a mother of boys, sometimes it's so hard to find good boy books. After they've read Rick Riordan, there's like nothing else.
Sports.
Yeah, there's just nothing for them to do. So it's fabulous to have them be reading that.
Absolutely.
And before we know it, before we blink, there'll be 2 more books.
There'll be 2 more books, yes. Hopefully out book 2 in June, book 3 in December. Those are the dates that we're targeting. Yeah.
Fantastic, with a whole book series going on.
Right.
So just while we have a minute, any tips for any would-be authors out there?
Don't give up.
Yes.
Don't give up. I had felt like sometimes I was climbing a mountain trying to keep going with the book. Don't give up. And do the research, find a critique group, have a little bit of a thick skin, be ready to hear when something works and doesn't work. There were definitely times when I thought my writing was really tight, I'm so excited, I'm coming to the group, and all of a sudden 10,000 pronouns were in paragraph 3 on page 4, and I'm thinking, who put them there? It couldn't have been me. But that's what happens, and you need to hear it, and it helps you become a stronger writer, and it helps the project be stronger. So that's what I would say.
Great. Any tips that you want to give our future writers?
Sequencing is really important also, because when you have such a great master, and a book will not be denied if it's going to be written. I mean, that set of papers sat in that file cabinet, just said she's going to show up at some point.
All right.
But the sequencing, when do you introduce what? And if it is going to be a series, okay, well, when did I say this? And because I remember with Tolkien and things like this, people would say, when did this happen? When did this show up? So sequencing can be very, very important.
Very tricky. Big whiteboards.
Index cards.
Index cards.
Index cards on a cork board.
All right.
Mapping it all out.
But the story won't be denied. And when it's a great, compelling story, that's what had me sign on, because I just knew it really was.
Thank you.
It kept me engaged. And I wasn't 12. You know,
Yeah.
it kept me engaged.
Thank you. And thank you for writing. And let's keep going.
Yes, keep going.
I love that. And thank you for joining us on Between the Covers. If you want more information about any of our authors, you can visit their websites or visit ours at betweenthecoverstv.com. Information about all of their events, their contact information, and information about the book fairies for donations. So happy reading and have a great week. Thanks.